I've been involved with civil society efforts in conserving the mangrove forests of Mumbai essentially. And I was one of the founding members of Mangrove Society of India in Mumbai around 12 years back. And I think it's been a movement up the learning cycle continuously. And from just a very simple view of mangroves, it's the complex dimensions of managing and growth and some of the points which Dr. Tyagi was saying, and a finer understanding of CRZ in the context of Mumbai. And some of the things, again, I mean, we've been hearing that there's too much of Mumbai in the conference, but some of the things which will be of definitely of general interest and learning, I'm sure. So first I want to like to begin with a series of images showing the amount of success actually we've had with CRZ. There have been a lot of complaints, and I can understand the complaints from the CRZ side. And as environmentalists also, as civil society, we have a lot of complaints, but I'll just show you a series of images. If can we put up the light over there on top so that image will look a bit better. Yeah. So I'm just going a panoramic sweep of images, and these are almost 300 acres of mangroves in western Mumbai. This is this thing. So it's a complete panoramic sweep, and you can see that the quality of mangroves is very good. There is a creek behind which is called as the Mallard Creek. It's a huge region, and this white spot that you see over here is actually a waste management facility in between mangroves. And this big plot which you see over there, which is flattened out, was a project to create a golf course and villas over almost 500 acres. Unfortunately, we were not able to save that in time. But the forest that you're seeing, mangrove, is completely safe because of the CRZ notification. I mean, if there was no CRZ, there was no legal basis for the kind of work we did in the late 90s and early 2000s. And the golf course also, we were ultimately come to MOEF and have show the wrong way permissions was given. And in fact, there was this discussion between the gentleman from NIO and Dr. Boralkar, but that Center for Earth Sciences in Trivandrum, they are the ones who wrongfully marked the high tide line as 500 meters further in the sea and said that this whole area is free of any tidal action. So this is the kind of satellite imagery that you see. The left mangrove forests are perfectly intact, and on the right, they are completely flattened out. And it's still a controversy even though nothing is happening over there. So what are we protecting in a CRZ and why? I think this is something with Mumbai which we are continuously talking. And we are definitely seeing that, yes, it is the foundation for a large number of services, fisheries, etc. And flood control is really important in Mumbai post the 2005 floods, which was really bad for us. Then vulnerability from human lives is definitely there. And then we are also looking at some amount of aesthetics. In fact, in the pictures which I showed before, all those buildings are actually just on the edge of the mangrove forest. They're just almost 10 meters from the boundary line. In a sense, you can say that they're all illegal. They're all 30-story towers which have come up in the past 10 to 15 years. And it is very interesting how some people are able to construct even close to 10 meters away from the line, whereas others have to justify even 50 meters, 100 meters away. And that's a separate topic I'll leave for discussion. So how are we faring in protecting the CRZ? So the management authority itself became functional only after a decade. In fact, the forest which I showed you, that is the first order which they gave in terms of restoring their health. Then second point, all of us have been discussing, abundant confusion and chaos in terms of information on how to implement it. But the third point is, which I want to really highlight as a fallacy of how we've been doing CRZ, that there is a lack of redressal forum to address the genuine problems being faced by all the stakeholders. And this really leads to further misinformation and confusion. And at least in Mumbai, it has created a very ripe market for intermediaries and brokers, rather than genuine problem solvers, whether they are from the scientific community, whether the civil society. But it's clearly not left any room for genuine problem solving. And I completely feel that it is not that complex an issue which it is made out to be. We have enough technological tools, human resource, scientific tools to absolutely have no problem at all. But that's the problem with it. So this is something which I don't think any one of us have been able to answer, that how well have we preserved our coastal zone in 2 decades since the CRZ notification. We are just involved in the bureaucratic nitty-gritty and permissions and this clause and subclause and everything. But there is no clear idea of is the coast much better off than in 91, or is it worse off, or is it the same? And again, this is a point which I want to highly stress upon, that what is the report card of those who have the official mandate to implement? I mean, I don't want to get into the details again, very controversial, but you can actually open the report card of all the top implementers, IAS officers, etc. And unless we don't get into that kind of a level of detail, there's never going to be any evolution, because we'll be always shying away from getting into the messy, dirty areas, saying that no, we'll get personal and all of that. But I think I want to leave this for the gathering over here to discuss. Now, the key features with CRZ have been really, what we experience is that there is a poor focus on ecological parameters and enhancing them in the CRZ. Case in point is the continuous deterioration of quality of water in the coast, creeks and rivers of Mumbai. Absolutely abysmal quality of water. We are not looking at the biological, chemical parameters at all. And if CRZ is meant to conserve coastal ecology, it should first and foremost improve the effluent collection and treatment, then meddle in CRZ2 areas. In case of Mumbai, it has become slowly a control tool, like what Dr. Tyagi was also saying, that control. I mean, why don't you do other kind of controls also? And it is becoming more perceived as a tool of fear, interference, intimidation. Redevelopment in Mumbai is a big issue, because very limited landmass. Buildings are 50 years old, 30 years old, they have to be redeveloped. And when they're getting redeveloped, they're all post-91. When they were constructed, they were all 70s and 80s. Now it is a different scenario. So it is affecting redevelopment. And this is a case in point I'm taking. I mean, there are hundreds of such cases in Mumbai you can go to. The short red line and the long red line. Now the short red line is leading to that building which you can see, the white terrace top, that was constructed and finished sometime in 2003 and 4, and you can see how close it is from the creek. It is almost just next to the creek. It would actually be illegal, it is. But there has been no problem with constructing that. And if you look at the big red line leading to that red triangle, that whole project has been caught up in CRZ, presumably. There are other reasons for that, but the official reason given is that it is in CRZ2, whereas it is not. There are 2 roads coming before that, and it's completely, I think, not even CRZ2. But that is how arbitrary CRZ implementation has become, and that's why it has become a much hated word and thing in Mumbai, where, and then environmentalists are the ones who get the flack for it. Then some of the other key features are that poor appreciation for how CRZ can be managed better through decision making in number of interrelated urban aspects. That is something which we are not doing. It's just one straight line that we are talking of, and anything to the left or right of it. And I'll just show 2 case studies. Better solid waste management in Mumbai can lead to reduced pressure and demand for new dumping grounds, all of which are situated in CRZ areas. All of Mumbai's dumping grounds, almost equaling 1,000 acres, are all in very rich intertidal region. The city produces 6,000 tons of garbage every day and transports it and dumps it on top of these areas. And this is a very interesting period, 2005 to 10. And the point has again and again been made that why are we looking only at industry as doing all the harm? And these are examples which I'll give you where the municipal corporation has actually done more harm to the coastal ecology in Mumbai than even developers or anybody setting up an industry or anything. So the decisions taken by BMC on solid waste management were very regressive, leading to creation of a new very large dumping ground on almost 100 hectares of land. And municipal corporation completely got away. I mean, Dr. Boralkar was in the morning complaining that Eastern Express Highway, why should on the landward side the high tide line come? In this case, even on the seaward side, the creekward side, the BMC has gone ahead and is carrying out reclamation. So I'll just come to those pictures. This is, so this huge patch which you're seeing in the middle of the green was once covered with tidal activity. It still has tidal action. These were salt pans, and it was designated as the new dumping ground for the city, Kanjur. So you can see the boundary wall just adjoining. Far behind in the background, you can see Thane Creek. Those are the waters. And this is the boundary wall. These are the sites. So there's some amount of garbage you will see behind, but these are the trucks which are carrying out reclamation. This is the mountain of garbage rising over there. So again, what you're saying is that how could you allow in a CRZ area? I mean, the MSW 2000 rules are talking about reducing waste at source, segregation, etc. And here the municipal corporation itself went ahead and did nothing of that and allowed a CRZ mangrove salt pan area to become a dumping ground. Now, again, the another case study is Mumbai had this big floods in 2005. 1,000 people died, huge amount of loss of economic loss. And that's where the flood control costing is. That's the first year when I started getting into it, that if we start doing very ballpark analysis of insurance and lives saved and all of that. So we've spent almost 1,000 crores in the name of flood prevention and making concrete walls in all our creeks and nalas, but there has been no expenditure on treatment of effluents. So these are the kind of concrete walls which have all come up by either municipal corporation money or the Mumbai Metropolitan Region Development Authority. And huge amount of concrete steel being poured and contracts being given out. But there is no focus on handling these kind of issues. I mean, this is a common sight. You can map out 10,000 such locations in Mumbai where raw sewage or people are throwing garbage, plastic bags. But municipal corporation is absolutely having very little interest compared to the enthusiasm it shows in concrete walls. So, and then you have to do these kind of operations where you're continuously desilting, removing the garbage bags, etc. Again, this is Dharavi, and this is a conversation which I've had a number of times with MPCB officials in Mumbai, that why can't you control the pollution? And they're saying that municipal corporation has enough powers because these are all acting, working illegally. So this kind of effluent discharge you will see, you have absolutely no idea what kind of chemicals are going, what kind of untreated. And then we are talking that we want to enhance coastal ecology and do coastal management. So that's the whole kind of issue. Now, it's becoming a smoke and mirrors game. It's very poor communication and analysis is leading to unfounded and exaggerated claims becoming the ground for CRZ relaxation. And I don't want to get into the details of that, but the whole idea that Mumbai's development is throttled because of CRZ or housing crisis in Mumbai, it's a fallacy. I mean, it could be contributing, but not to the extent that it is made out to be. The housing policy is in shambles. The overall governance of the city is in a bad shape. And so the need of the hour really is, I think, information and peer review of the challenges being faced in the management of CRZ. It really needs to be improved a lot. Also, we need to be in touch with the needs of our cities, coastline. I'm completely for the view that cities should have a separate treatment compared to rural or countryside areas. So you cannot treat Mumbai in the same way as maybe an Alibag or a Ratnagiri or all that. So you need a separate treatment and you need a dynamic need assessment of all the demands which are there. So I think that's the only concluding point I wanted to make, that we need intense, frequent and transparent discussions at local levels between all the stakeholders. That's the clear conversation we've been having for the past 5 years. I've been part of this deliberations which are being held. This is the third one. And so I would like to really thank all the organizers for giving this opportunity. I think it's been a wonderful learning time for me for the past 2 days. Thank you.